Hello friends, welcome back. In this video, we will be discussing some important aspects of your interview preparation. We have already discussed the three main aspects of interview preparation in the previous videos. One is your biodata based questions, or the questions that are based on what you have providing to them as part of your biodata. So most of the questions, or a good chunk of the questions, will be based on your biodata. Then there will be some application based questions or logical questions where how you are able to think on your feet. Some issues or some hypothetical situations will be given to you, and how you will solve that situation, or what decision you will make, your decision making abilities, your ability to think fast on your feet. These things will be assessed through those kind of hypothetical questions. And the third and the most important is your general awareness based questions, because they will find some connection between your biodata, what you have studied, your background, etc., to some relevant things that are going on in the world at present. So how informed you are about whatever is happening in the world, and whether you have formed logical opinions about the issues that are going on in the world. So these things are being tested through the general awareness based questions, because a good leader or a good business manager should always be having the relevant information regarding what is happening in the outside world. Not only that, he has the information, he or she has the ability to make logical opinions on the basis of sound and balanced information. So that the ability to make that balanced opinion is the hallmark of a good decision maker. So that is why these kind of questions are basically aimed at understanding your awareness level and your ability to make decisions based on that awareness. So that is why these kind of questions are also very important. They carry a lot of weightage in your interview. So we will quickly go through some general awareness issues that are likely to be asked to you if the interview were to be conducted today, or not just today. These issues are also going to be relevant maybe to 6 months down the line. So I'll be selecting only those issues that are going to be relevant at the time of your actual interview, which is going to be conducted from the month of January 2025 onwards. So those issues we will quickly go through based on the newspaper article. So the first issue I would like to highlight is this particular news item that has appeared in today's newspaper, where the One Nation, One Election scheme has been given approval by the Union Cabinet. So the questions, the questions based on this issue will be asked to all the candidates, irrespective of your background, because this is something that is affecting our entire nation or concerning our entire nation. So they will ask you about your awareness about what do you know about what is One Nation, One Election scheme. Why this is being proposed now, what was the existing status quo regarding the conduct of elections in India, regarding the assembly elections, parliamentary elections, the local self-government level elections, etc. So which are the authorities which are conducting the parliamentary elections and assembly elections, which authority is conducting the local self-government election, why there is a proposal to combine all these elections into one process, what is the advantage, what are the likely disadvantages, why the opposition parties are objecting to this particular proposal. Do you agree whether with this particular proposal to conduct simultaneous elections to assemblies as well as parliament at the same time? Why, if you are agreeing to it, why, if you are not agreeing to it, why? So this kind of issues, this is a very, very important thing that is going to be relevant even 6 months or 1 year down the line, because they are they're proposing to conduct this in the 2029 general elections. So till 2029, this is going to be a relevant issue. So try to learn more about this. If you read this article, you will get a lot of information. And there was a committee that was appointed to study this issue. Who was the head of that committee? That committee has submitted its report. What is that report containing? All these could be asked to you. And finally, the question will be, what is your opinion? So this is why this is a very, very important and relevant issue. You should go through the newspaper article, which is already given in the WhatsApp group. If you are not a member of the WhatsApp group, please join the WhatsApp group. The link is provided in the description, where a lot of relevant articles are circulated among the members, so that they can read these articles and then get relevant information and updation regarding the issues. Right. Now, coming to the next one. I'll skip the other things which are not really important from a national level exam point of view. I'll only be focusing on things that are important from the national level. So the local issues and all I will skip. But if you are a candidate preparing for exams, you should also be aware about the local level issues. For example, this particular issue, if you are a person hailing from West Bengal, or if you are not a person hailing from West Bengal, still this is relevant to you because it is talking about that RG Kar Medical College, that doctor getting raped and killed while she was on duty, which has shook the entire nation. So this yesterday there was a reconciliation meeting between the striking young doctors and the Mamata Banerjee government. And what was the outcome of that meeting? What are the demands that have been met? What are the demands that are not met? And the larger question that will be asked to you about the issue of women's safety in India, why women are being continuously and repeatedly tagged in by sexual offenders or other people in India, even after so many years of independence and even after the passage of so many laws that ensure women protection, why this is happening. So is this a problem of attitude or education? So here, if you are asked about this question, an ideal answer should be that no amount of law is going to inculcate that sense of equality or that sense of respect towards the women unless this particular aspect is taught in those schools. That is why the gender sensitivity should be a subject that has to be taught in the schools right from childhood itself, and the sense of equality that has to be there in the mindset of all the children, whether they are boys or girls, that has to be developed from the young age itself, so that the children learn to respect women and girls and their freedom. All these things have to be inculcated. So only then this becomes a part of our culture. These kind of issues will be prevented or can be prevented in an effective manner. So that should be a very, very important kind of response that you should be providing when asked about these kind of questions. I have observed many times when when I am interviewing certain candidates, these kind of pointed questions are asked, but they will only address the issue at hand. They will not be addressing the underlying problem. So whenever we discuss about a particular issue, try to understand the underlying problem or the essential problem that is causing the issue, then try to address that problem. Instead of treating the symptom, you should treat the disease. But the symptom is only an external manifestation of some deep problem inside. So you should, as a manager or as a corporate leader, you should always try to address not the issue at hand, but the underlying problem. If there is one, try to identify the underlying problem and try to rectify that problem, then the issue will automatically go away. So this is why these kind of questions are important, and they will be asked, you will be asked about these kind of issues in your interviews. Now, next one. This is not, I'm only talking about the important things. Yes, this is another very, very important issue. India has decided to stop the talks with Pakistan on the Permanent Index Commission. So you should know what is this Permanent Index Commission. This is a very, very important thing and very frequently asked question. What is the Indus Water Treaty? What is the importance of this treaty? Why this treaty is so relevant and important for both India and Pakistan? And why the Permanent Indus Commission was set up after the signing of this treaty? Which are the rivers whose waters are shared between India and Pakistan under the Indus Water Treaty? And why this Permanent Indus Commission? What is set up? What are the terms of reference of Permanent Indus Commission? What are they doing and how frequently they meet, and why suddenly India has stopped that biennial meetings with Pakistan on the Permanent Index Commission. So all these things could be asked you. This is a very, very important thing that you should know about as far as you are a candidate for the any kind of national level exams or interviews. This is something you need to know. So that is why this is an important thing. So please go through the article. This article is again circulated, and a lot of articles on Permanent Index Commission and Indus Water Treaties are circulated in my WhatsApp group. So please, if you regularly read these articles, you will already have a lot of information regarding the background of the Indus Water Treaty activity. So you only need to update yourself regarding the latest development. So that will make your task very, very easy. So this is another important issue that you should be aware of. All right. Then another very important thing is the latest decision or latest financial grants given to the space projects that India is going to undertake in the coming years. So we are going to have a Chandrayaan 4 mission. Then we have another important mission that is coming up, which is Gaganyaan. Then we all have a Mars mission that is already approved, and along with it, a Venus mission is also being approved, or it has been given approval. So the latest missions that are now going to be conducted are Chandrayaan 4, where we are going to bring in rock and other particles from moon using the Chandrayaan rovers. Then we have the India's first manned space mission Gaganyaan, which is scheduled to be conducted next year. So which is the most important mission that ISRO is conducting now. And then you have a Mars mission which is already approved, and then latest orbiter mission. So the amount or the money that has been additionally sanctioned for these kind of things also you should have some idea. And for the Venus mission, 1,236 crore has been sanctioned, and the Gaganyaan program has already has a fund of around 9,000 crores, and an additional funding of 11,000 crores is issued. So that means this is the largest program as far as funding is concerned that ISRO is going to undertake. Means a total budget of 20,000 crores is given to this particular program of Gaganyaan, India's first manned space mission, where India is planning to send around 5 or 6 people to the space in India's own flight mission. So you should be asked about this question, and you should also be asked about some historical aspect regarding who was the first Indian man to have traveled to space. So it is Rakesh Sharma in the year 1984. But of course, it was not in India's space module. It was done through Russia's space module, Roscosmos. They have launched this particular program, and Rakesh Sharma was a cosmonaut who traveled in that particular and a space mission and went into space. So that historical aspect also you should be aware. So whenever any current affairs issue will be asked to you, you should have some knowledge about the historical aspect of that current affairs issue. So this is why whenever you read this kind of articles, try to get some sense of the history about that particular aspect. Another important thing you should be knowing is about the Bharati Antariksh Station, or the India's first space station that is a long-term plan of ISRO. So we already have an international space station in operating in space. India is now planning to build our own space station, Bharati Antariksh Station of the and this Gaganyaan and Chandrayaan missions are just precursors to that mission. So that kind of knowledge about the India's long-term future plans as well as short-term future plans as far as space is concerned, you should have a good idea. So that is why this an article becomes very important. This is again a continuing study. So any news item regarding India's space missions and all this, when it comes in the newspapers, you have to be aware of it. Another important news item that is very, very important is the PM Asha scheme to continue with addition. So Center has announced that the Asha scheme has been extended and certain additional provisions have been given. So this is a scheme for Annadata Aay Sanrakshan Abhiyan, or PM Asha Pradhan Mantri Annadata Aay Sanrakshan Abhiyan. This is a scheme for the welfare of the farmers in order to protect the income of the farmers. So the farming welfare or agriculture welfare is a priority area of India or any government in the world. They will be giving importance to the farming in their country, because farming or agriculture is the area that gives the country food security, because they are cultivating the food crops. So that is why a lot of subsidies in the incentives are given to farmers, so that the farming becomes attractive and people engage in farming. If people do not engage in farming, it will lead to food, it will lead to a decline in the food production. So that will lead to a food shortage in our country. So India is now self-reliant in food production. We have 6 months of food stored in our Food Corporation of India godown. So that is why India has more than enough security as well as food production is concerned. So that has come with because of the welfare schemes that are introduced for farmers. So you will be asked about the main welfare schemes that are introduced that are there for farmers. So PM Kisan is one such scheme. Then PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, another scheme. Then PM Anna Yojana, this one, Ay Sangrakshan Yojana. Then PM, you have the Fasal Bima Yojana, which is a crop insurance scheme. Then you have the subsidy schemes where interest subsidy, fertilizer subsidy, power subsidy, lot of subsidies are given to farmers. So these are the main schemes that are available for farmer welfare or agricultural welfare in India. So again, a very, very important scheme. Any government scheme that is aimed at the development of farmers is something that is relevant for any kind of interviews at the national level. So you should know about this. So any industrial sector scheme or agricultural sector scheme, you need to have some idea. And depending on the importance of the scheme, how do you assess the importance of a scheme? Just look at the financial budget or the grant given to that particular scheme. So if you rank the schemes according to the financial budgeting available to that scheme, then you will understand how relevant or important that scheme is. So that is how you try to prioritize your knowledge about the various government schemes regarding India's industrial as well as agricultural sectors. All right, then this is another a very, very important thing, relevant thing, especially for IT people, because this talks about how generative AI can be used for fighting the conspiracy theories or misinformation campaigns where a lot of unfounded information will be circulated through the internet or through digital mediums, and people will be believing these things, and they will there will be some fear psychosis or some kind of fear mongering that will be undertaken, and people will indulge in certain conspiracy theories and all those kind of unfounded theories. And now this article talks about how large language models with the help of generative AI, means GPT. So the fourth version of GPT or this generative AI can be used to fight the disinformation campaigns and the conspiracy theories by posing certain logical questions to the people who are supporting these kind of theories. So with the help of certain logical questions and certain evidences that prove the theories to be false, the large language models as well as the generative AI can be used to fight the disinformation campaigns and the conspiracy theories that are generally popular all over the internet through the digital mediums, WhatsApp and all other kind of social media channels. So this can be used in a very good manner to fight this kind of disinformation or misinformation campaign. So this is a article that will help you to understand about the power of generative AI, how it can be used constructively for fighting the misinformation campaigns or the false news that are propagated through the social media handles, and how it can be done. So this can be a question that will be asked either in your interview or in your group discussion or in your writing ability test. So the basic idea is, or basic thing is your understanding, and how you that understanding can be used, that is up to you, whether it is in your interview, GD, or the writing ability test, or in your extempore, you can use these ideas. So you need to collect the information by reading these kind of very informative articles. So that is why this article is also considered important by me from the point of view of an interview. All right. Another important article is this particular editorial, which is talking about how English has to be made relevant in the academic curriculum. After the introduction of the new education policy, the three-language formula is introduced in India, and the three-language formula is not giving too much attention to English language or the study or learning of English language. As a result of which, what will happen is that the competence of Indian students to the skill of the Indian students to compete at the international level with students from other countries becomes diminished because they have a reduced level of communicative skills in English language. So this article is forcefully arguing that you should reintroduce and refocus on the relevance of English language. That will help the Indian students to become competent at the international level. Otherwise, the Indian students may not be competent both at the national level as well as the international level. So the new education policy should have some priority for teaching English. So this again is a very relevant article, and this also could be an issue that you might be asked in your GD interview, group WAT, extempore, etc. So this is why the reading and understanding of this article is very helpful to you. Another important thing is about another important editorial is about the Wilmington conference or the Quad conference that is going to be conducted in the month of April. So this is again very important. You should know about Quad. What is Quad? Which are the member countries in Quad? Why India is a member of Quad? What is the ultimate or the basic objective of Quad? It is to fight or to compete with China in the Asia Pacific region, because China is becoming a superpower in the Pacific region. So obviously, USA and Australia, Japan, both these countries are worried about China's supremacy. So in order to fight that supremacy, they had formed an alliance, and India subsequently joined when the relationship between India and China soared after some time. And now we know that India and China, we do not have a very good diplomatic relationship. As a result of which, India has also joined Quad. So the member countries of Quad, they meet regularly. Yearly once a summit is going to be held. So this year's summit, 2024 summit, is going to be held in Delaware, Wilmington, in USA in the month of September. So our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also going to participate. So what are the main focus areas or the agendas that are going to be there in the meeting? Which are the issues that needed or that need focus or attention? Why the issues are there? And what is the background regarding Quad? What is the objective of Quad? What are the preferences or the priorities Quad should be having? All these information can be obtained from this particular article. So this again is a very important article. All right. Another one is about the importance of fast track courts. There is a saying in English that justice delayed is justice denied. So this is what is happening in India, because in India, as we all know, because of the snail pace of the Indian jurisprudence or the judicial system, any person who is having a grievance and he wants to solve his problem by approaching the judicial system, he will be denied the justice, because the justice is delivered to the person after a long delay. So 10 years, 20 years, etc. is the time taken for any kind of civil or criminal cases to be settled as per the Indian judicial system. So that is why the relevance of fast track courts, where the process of delivering justice is fast tracked with the help of courts, which will be conducting the hearings in a fast track manner and delivering justice within a very short time. So this particular article is giving out data regarding the status of fast track courts, which are the states that have set up fast track courts, what is the condition, how many cases are lagging, and whether these fast track courts are relevant or not. So this again is a very, very important issue, not just for general candidates, for people who have studied law, people who are from having a legal background. For those people also, this is a very, very important issue. So you should have some knowledge about the criminal justice system, or the justice system, not just the criminal justice system, the civil justice system as well, and what are the problems that are ailing the court system in India, why there is so much delay, what are the things that can be done to improve the working of the judicial system in India, and whether fast track courts can help in delivering justice in a swift and fast manner. So all these kind of questions will be asked to you. So you need to have some knowledge about this. Yes, another very important issue is the Adani controversy regarding Kenya's Nairobi airport. So, the Nairobi airport is an international airport in Kenya, and Adani Group has undertaken to develop that airport by taking on the development work. And they have asked for a 30-year lease, so that they will be running the airport for 30 years after development, and they will be levying some charges, and as a result of which both the country Kenya as well as the Adani group will be benefited. So this is the actual fact. So why this has become a controversy? Because of the process or the method by which they secured this contract, because they did not opt for a open tender process in a PPP mode, means private public partnership mode, where all the conditions and all the relevant terms and clauses could be scrutinized by the public. But instead, what they did, they entered into a very secretive agreement with the Kenyan government through a PIP, means a privately initiated plan. That is a PIP. So, where the terms and conditions are not released to the public, it was dealt or it was discussed directly with the Kenyan government only. And after that, the Kenyan government awarded the contract without opting for a legal or an open tender process. So this prima facie itself, we can see that there is something fishy. So Adani is notorious for indulging in these kind of underhand dealings in both at the national level as well as at the international level. So the questions that could be asked to you is whether this is morally or legally correct. So whatever Adani is doing in getting a lease for the development of Nairobi Airport, the method they have adopted, is it correct or not? What is the moral and legal angle and the ethical angle involved, and why the Indian companies are using these kind of underhand dealings to secure international projects? So all these kind of questions will be asked to you. So this is again something that involves your decision-making processes. So you need to understand the issue, look at the various aspects of the issue, then try to decide who is correct, which is correct, or which side is correct, which side is wrong. So that is why again your decision making will be called into question here by asking these kind of about these kind of issues. So you should have some knowledge about this. All right. Another issue is there is an international brand called Tupperware. They are basically into manufacturing of food containers. You might have seen the Tupperware products in supermarkets and all. So they have now filed for bankruptcy. So this was a very world famous international brand. They had sales all over the world. Such a big company that they had to have become bankrupt. They have filed for bankruptcy protection in the US, where they are headquartered. So what is the reason for their bankruptcy? What were the factors that led to the downfall of this company, and how the bankruptcy protection is going to help them to continue their operations? So what is this Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection? How it is different from a normal bankruptcy filing? So people who have commerce background, people who are from law, commerce, corporate law, chartered accountancy, cost accountancy, etc., they will be asked about this question, the difference between Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection and a normal bankruptcy claim. So what are the additional benefits for a company which files a bankruptcy protection under the Chapter 11 clause in the USA? What is a similar clause in India? And how these bankruptcy protection laws are framed in India? What is the difference between the bankruptcy protection in US versus India? Essential differences only. So those kind of questions you will be asked. So you should have very good knowledge. So it is basically a specialized area. So people who are from commerce background and from chartered accountancy and related areas, you should have very good knowledge. So when you are asked about this question, you should not have any hesitation or doubt. You should be very clear about your answers. So that will help you in securing good marks. So this is how interview are assessing the candidates, because something related to your background and some relevant news item that is connected to what you have studied, they will ask you, and your opinion. So if you are able to answer the theoretical aspect in a very clear and concise manner, and then talk about your opinion based on the sound theory and logical reasons, then you get a lot of marks. This is how your interviews will or the interviewer will assess the caliber and the merit of the candidate. So that is why this is important for chartered accountants, commerce graduates, postgraduates, etc. All right. So now we'll go to some business related things, because since we are essentially talking about CAT and other management entrance examinations, some issues related to businesses will be asked. So one particular news item is about the advanced tax collection. So far in this financial year has gone up by 22%. So what is the relevance of advanced tax? Advanced tax is for as a provision given by the tax department for any direct taxes like corporate income tax, personal income tax, security transaction tax, any kind of direct taxes. If you are a person who is regularly paying direct tax is any tax that you pay directly to the government. So that tax you can, if you are a regular tax assessee who is paying regular tax, what you can do, you know that this year you have to pay this much tax. So out of which a percentage of the tax you can pay in advance. So that is called advance tax. So this year what is happening? The advance tax collection is already reaching the 22% of the budget estimates. Means it is an indication of the economy or the state of the economy. So advanced tax collection is already 22%, means the economy is doing very well, and so we have already we are just about to complete the 6-month period from April onwards till September. You have the 6 months of the financial year complete. So 22% advanced tax collection already is there, means that is a good thing, and it is more than 45% of the total budget estimate. So your question will be based on what is the budgeted estimate for direct tax collection this year, and what is the budgeted estimate for indirect tax collection this year, and what is the total size of India's budget, the revenues, the expenditure, what is the fiscal deficit, what as a percentage of GDP, what will be the fiscal deficit. So these are all questions related to the budget of India. So budget is a very, very important issue, or a very, very important topic that all candidates should have a lot of knowledge about. And this is why any question that is not directly related to budget, if these kind of questions they will ask, indirectly they will talk about the budget. So that is why you should have that knowledge about the fiscal deficit, the GDP percentages, the estimated GDP, what is the total revenues estimated, what is the total expenses estimated, how much is the fiscal deficit, and whether the fiscal deficit is higher or lower than the last year. So all these kind of questions will come to you. So this is why, so whenever you read this kind of articles, immediately you go back to the budget. The budget is already circulated. Details regarding the budget is already circulated again in the WhatsApp group. So go back to that relevant information regarding the budget and revise your knowledge. So that will help you to keep yourself updated and keep your memory intact regarding the facts and figures about the budget. All right. Another important aspect is regarding this Tata Group forming a strategic alliance with Analog Devices for making semiconductor chips. You should know that Tata Group is the first company in India that is developing two semiconductor parks. One is a fabrication unit in Gujarat, another one is a testing unit in Assam. So these are the two semiconductor parks that are being set up by Tata Group in India. India is now planning to become a semiconductor manufacturing hub. India Semiconductor Mission is the project by Indian government to make India a semiconductor manufacturing hub. So you should know what is a semiconductor, why it is important in the digital industry or the digital economy, and why India is now gearing up to compete with Taiwan and China in the semiconductor business, and which are the main companies that are investing in the semiconductor business in India. Tata Group is one such company. So they are the first company to announce a the setting up of two semiconductor parks in India, one in Gujarat, one in Assam. So the Gujarat one will be fabrication unit where the chips are manufactured, and the Assam unit will be a testing unit where the manufactured chips are going to be tested for quality. And now they have entered into a strategic alliance with Analog Devices, which is a main semiconductor manufacturing company based in USA. So that is become a strategic tie-up. So you should know which are the leading semiconductor manufacturing companies in the world. Where are they located? All these kind of questions are important to you, and the importance of semiconductor industry in the global economy also becomes a relevant question. You should know about that. All right. Another question is about this particular initiative by government for greening the steel sector. What is greening? Greening means reducing the carbon footprint of manufacturing is called greening. Means whatever processes that are used in manufacturing, if they are giving out a lot of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, identify those processes which give out a lot of carbon dioxide, then green that particular process by reducing the amount of emission by adopting newer or latest technologies which will reduce the amount of carbon dioxide emission and thereby greening the manufacturing. So this is now being done in the steel sector in a very, very intensive manner. There is a reason for that. So your question will be why the government is giving so much focus on greening the steel sector, especially because India is a very big exporter of steel, and most of Indian manufactured steel is going to the European countries. And Europe has recently introduced a particular condition in European countries where the goods that are imported into those countries, whether these goods are the manufacturing of these goods will create the carbon footprint or increase the carbon footprint in the world or increase the carbon pollution. If the manufacturing processes of the imported items are creating carbon pollution, then a carbon border adjustment tax will be levied from these products. So India, obviously, the manufacturing process for Indian steel is involving lot of carbon emission, as a result of which this carbon border adjustment tax we have to pay. So if you pay carbon border adjustment tax, what will happen? Indian products will become costlier than the competing countries' products. So our exports will suffer. The European countries will not be importing Indian steel because it will become costly after including the carbon border tax. So that is why the Indian export sector for steel is going to have a lot of impact if the carbon border adjustment mechanism is implemented in Europe. And as a result of which, India is now giving a lot of focus on greening the steel sector so that we don't have to pay the carbon border tax, so that our products will still remain competitive in the European countries. So this is the reason for this. So this is a very, very important item or an important thing. So if you are a management graduate, this question is definitely coming to you, especially if you are mechanical engineering plus management graduate, or a person who is in production engineering or a production management or any related areas. They will ask you this question. Or even for general candidate, this question is going to be asked: why steel sector or the Indian manufacturing sector is now aggressively pushing for reducing the carbon footprint? It is because it is not for their own welfare, it is for their own survival they are doing it, because they will have to invest a lot of money for greening it. So if there was any option available, they would not be doing it. But since there are no options available, Europe has made it mandatory, the carbon border adjustment mechanism. So there is no option available for Indian manufacturers but to opt for reduced carbon footprint. That is why greening the steel sector is now a priority area for India. So this is again a very important news. All right. Then another question is about the urban planning in India, the lack of urban planning in India, and the floods that regularly happen during monsoons in almost all Indian cities. Also, we know, have seen that in the past 2 months, many Indian cities became inundated because of the monsoon rains, and the governments are blaming the change in the monsoon pattern and the change in the way rains are flowing, etc., etc. But this article says that it is not the change in the monsoon pattern or the change in the climatic conditions that is the problem. It is the problem of improper urban planning. So whenever cities are being planned and developed, they need to give proper drainage systems and proper methods by which flood waters will be washed away without accumulating or without congesting the city drains. So this is why proper planning needs to be done. Not just planning, the maintenance of the drains and the maintenance, construction of proper drain sewerage systems, etc. Maintenance and properly and timely upkeep of these items also are very, very important. So if you do all these kind of things, the flooding of the cities can be avoided to a large extent. So this is again an issue that needs a lot of focus. It could be asked in your GD or WAT or extempore. So you need to develop some idea regarding the existing condition of urban planning, the existing condition of the drainages and severages in India, the lack of maintenance, all those things, and how proper maintenance, planning, etc., can drive away these kind of issues. So again, a very, very important aspect of interview. One more thing is how generative AI can transform supply chain management. So you should, if this is particularly relevant for management graduates and specifically for management graduates who have done specialization in supply chain or production or logistics, etc. So generative AI again is playing a very, very important role in making the supply chain management more efficient by doing a lot of things. What are the things in which supply generative AI can help the supply chain manager or the logistic manager in improving the efficiency, reducing the wastage, and increasing the turnaround time, or the reducing the turnaround time. Sorry, all these things can be done with the help of generative AI, because the data sets, the diverse data sources can be analyzed, as a result of which the efficiency can be brought about without too much of an issue. So this is again is a very, very important issue for management graduates. All right, another important government scheme that has been launched recently is the NPS Vatsalya scheme. So NPS is National Pension Scheme. So National Pension Scheme, yes, you know, it is a scheme in which people can contribute while they are working, and at the end of their working life, the scheme will refund that money plus some interest accumulated in the form of a pension. So that is the National Pension Scheme. And now this scheme has been extended to children. That is why it is called an NPS Vatsalya scheme. So any parent can invest in NPS for the sake of his or her child till that child becomes 18 years of age. And from the 18-year age limit, the child can continue the NPS scheme till his or her retirement, so that by the time he retires, he or she gets a bulk, very good amount as pension. So this is how parents can ensure the retired life of their children. So this NPS Vatsalya is a very important scheme that is launched by new National Pension Scheme recently, and this is again something important. So being a government scheme under NPS, it is important. And related questions will be about the why NPS has been stopped by state governments, and even central government has now started a unified payment system. So NPS previously, all the government employees and public sector employees who have been recruited after 2009, they are under the NPS. Now their government has decided to go back to the normal or the contributory pension scheme, where the government is going to directly pay the pension instead of collecting money from the individuals and then investing in the stock market or in equities and then giving the matured amount to the people. They have stopped because of a lot of objections from the beneficiaries. It has been stopped, and the government has now taken a decision to revert to the unified pension scheme or the old pension scheme. So your question should be why the government is reverting to the old scheme. What are the problems with the new pension scheme or the national pension or the revised pension scheme? Why it was scrapped? All these kind of questions will come. So you should have knowledge about the old pension scheme versus the new pension scheme. So fertilizer subsidy. So fertilizer subsidy is the largest form of subsidy available to the farmers in India. So, or it is the largest form of subsidy available to any group in India, because if you see the budget statistics, you can see that the largest subsidy given to any particular field is the fertilizer subsidy. So the fertilizer subsidy outlay this year for this year is around 50,000 crores, and out of which for rabi crops the subsidy has been increased to 24,475 crops. So what is a rabi crop? What is a kharif crop? Which are the important cropping seasons in India? They are rabi and kharif. So which are the main crops under rabi? Which are the main crops under kharif? Which are the important schemes for farmers in India? All these will again be asked to you. So this is just a duplication of information or repetition of information. We have already discussed about the importance of agriculture sector in another news item. So you can revise those information. Along with that, you can add certain additional information regarding the different type of subsidies available for farmers. So fertilizer subsidy being the highest. Then comes the power subsidy. Then comes the interest subsidy. So these are the important subsidies available for farmers in India. So why they are given? What is the relevance? What are kharif crops? What are rabi crops? All these kind of questions will be asked to you. So you, by reading this article, you will develop and sustain that knowledge about the agriculture sector in India. This is again something that has we have already discussed in the already discussed in the previous slide, so that you need not worry about it. And another important thing is this. See, the center has now given approval, or the government has given approval for developing a center for excellence for animation, gaming, and extended reality. And this center is coming up in Mumbai, India. So, what is the relevance of developing such a center? Because India is a hub for animation and gaming. The animation and gaming are big industry or big businesses, multi-billion-dollar businesses, and China was a leader in developing gaming and animation systems all over the world. So now India is also picking up the speed in this particular industry, because we have a lot of talent available for coding or developing programs for animation, gaming, and extended reality. So that is why India, because of the talent that is available in our country, now we are gearing up for developing this industry into a very big industry in India. So for the development of this particular industry of gaming, animation, extended reality, government has decided to set up a center for excellence for the same, and this center is going to come up in Mumbai, and there is a task force created for that. So all these things are given in this particular news item. Again, an important thing. So any news item regarding development of particular industries or upcoming new industries, new business areas, etc., are important from a management point of view, which you should know about. So that is why this is again a very important item. All right, now comes the another item is about the World Trade Organization, and the Director General of WTO has made a comment regarding India must continue to lead WTO, making right compromises. So this news item as such is not very important. The concept behind the news item is important. So you should know what is the relevance of WTO. WTO stands for World Trade Organization. So this is the an international body that is overseeing the disputes between countries on international trade. It is also framing the rules and regulations that are applicable for international trade, that all the signatories to the WTO have to comply with. India is a signatory to WTO, so India has to comply with the rules and regulations of WTO. If we have any complaints or if we have any grievances, we can approach the grievance redressal forum of WTO. So WTO is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, and its Director General at present is this lady. Her name is I find it very difficult to pronounce her name. It is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So she is the Director General, and she has made some statements about the ministerial conference and how India has a very important role to play and all those things. So by reading this particular interview, you can get some idea about the WTO. You can get some idea about why India is important for WTO and how WTO is seeing India's increased cooperation in a very significant manner. So these kind of things you should know about the WTO. This again is something important, very important. So, all right, that's for all for now. I hope this has given you some idea into how to read newspapers in a smart and effective manner and to collect more information regarding the background. So that will help you in developing your knowledge in an all-round fashion. So that anything regarding business or industry they ask, you have some knowledge to share. You need not be completely correct about the issue, or you may not be having the entire knowledge about a particular issue. But if you are able to share some information about the particular concept or issue that is being discussed, then that will definitely help you to get marks, because the interviewer is only looking for that awareness. So he has to know that a person of your caliber who is either a management graduate or a management aspirant, there are certain basic minimum information or knowledge that you are supposed to have. If you have that, then okay, then you will be getting marks. If you do not have that, even the basic information, then that means you are not a fit candidate for that particular post. So this is why you need to continuously read newspapers and try to read the newspapers smartly, focus on the issues that might be of help to you in your interview, then try to develop or further your knowledge on those particular issues, and retain that knowledge through regular reading and revising of the information, so that you become adept at answering questions without a problem. So thank you and bye-bye. If you found the video to be useful, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again.